Bill Troyer, and he previously answered question number 7, and in this round, question number 8. This will be the second time for that question. Legislation regarding the policy of don't ask, don't tell recently passed the House. How would you have voted on that legislation?
What I would have done is that, first of all, I would say that our military is not a social program. Our military is set up for a very specific purpose, and we need to rely upon the Joint Chiefs of Staff to tell us what they think is necessary for an effective fighting force. I believe, from what I've heard, that the Joint Chiefs have said they want to keep don't ask, don't tell in place. And so I would defer to the opinion of the generals and say that if they believe it's an important part of our ability to maintain a strong fighting force, then we need to keep that policy in place.
All right. This question is for Joe Schomburg, and he previously had question number 10. Question number 4. This is the second time for that question. There have been numerous instances in the news of businesses failing to follow government regulations, such as BP, Massey Energy, and several financial institutions. What are your thoughts about the level and/or quality of our federal government's regulatory oversight?
Well, obviously regulations can, taken too far, will actually really hinder the businesses from growing and expanding. You look at antitrust lawsuits and everything else where you limit corporations from expanding their business, looking at different avenues, and then they end up having to break up their businesses just because they're afraid of the regulations. So you need to make sure that if a business doesn't follow the regulations, like the BP and other, especially the financial institutions that really cause damage in America, you got to make sure they pay for it. With how much damage the financial industry has done for pretty much all of America, you got to make them pay the price, not keep bailing them out.
That brings us to the end of round 2. I know what you're thinking. I can see in your eyes. Gee, I wish we had 37 people running. Maybe next time. No. Not me, sir. The answer to that is not only no, but heck no. We're going to invite Joe Lindsay up now, and Joe will read off the people and the questions as we go into round 3. First question will go to Bill Troyer.
Number 16.
Number 16.
What is your position on the Obama administration's increased predatory strikes in Pakistan?
I think I disagree with the Obama administration on practically everything they do, but I think the predator drone strikes that we've been using have been very effective, and I do support them. I think we've knocked out many of the top leaders of Al-Qaeda and also the Taliban, and I think we need to continue that. One thing on an earlier question, my friend Dennis answered, and obviously him having a brother that serves in the military, I hate to disagree with him, but I would disagree with him just slightly, and that is with regard to our position in Afghanistan especially. I don't think we need to stay until the job is done. I think when we went into Afghanistan, we went in there to eliminate a threat. We have now done that. Now we're in the process of nation building. And in that process, I think we need to rely upon the people of Afghanistan to step up, to prove that they're willing to make the sacrifices and the commitments that are necessary to live as a free people. And if they're not willing to make those sacrifices, then I think we need to pull our troops back out, because it's not worth the sacrifice of our young men and women or our dollars. And at that point, we need to get out and keep that area safe, but not continue to try and build a nation, build a democracy for people who don't want it.
Question. Number 18. Question 18. President Obama has proposed plans for the U.S. and Russia to reduce their nuclear arsenals. Some Republicans, like Senator Richard Lugar, support the president's plan. Others, like all the candidates seeking the Indiana Senate nomination, do not. What is your stance, and how will you vote?
I would not support reducing our missile defense shield around the Russian over in that region down to even the Middle East. I think it's very important for us. One of the things that the United States has always been is a nation that has protected itself in our interests. And I believe that it is important for us to be there to those countries that cannot help themselves, such as when Iraq went into Kuwait, we went in and defended Kuwait. But at the same time, when we're watching Russia, China, Iran, and these countries that are building weapons of mass destruction, nuclear weapons, I believe it's very important for us to draw that line in the sand and say we're not going to withdraw from that particular region because we're going to protect ourselves from any attack by those rogue nations such as North Korea, Iran, and we have to start looking to the south as well as they start building coalitions from Venezuela to Iran to North Korea, and it's important for us to protect the United States. And so those missile defense shields are so important. I believe that we have to also use every economic sanction or economic leverage that we have to, first of all, put an end to the potential attacks. But at the end of the day, we have to keep our military in a position to defend the United States.
Question 17. Do you support further extensions of unemployment benefits to those who currently are unemployed?
No, I do not. And I don't for a specific reason. I actually looked this up before I came here because I thought that might be a question. There's a lot of school of thought about unemployment benefits that it extends people's unwillingness to go out and look for work and take a job that may well be beneath what they're used to making. We cannot continue forever and ever and ever to spend billions and billions and billions of dollars to have people not work. Immigration reform would help if we could send the people home that have some of our jobs and we could put some of our people back to work. That would be very helpful. I would like to see us take some of that money that we spend on immigration reform and do something to incentivize the engine and reignite the engine of economic growth in this country, and that is small business. Let's cut taxes. Let's get rid of some of the rules and the regulations that allow people like me to create jobs because we know how, and put these people back to work. When we had to lay people off during this recession, it was one of the most heartbreaking things that we had to go through. We called a few back, and it is a joyful thing for them because I guarantee you most people that get unemployment checks would much rather have a paycheck. So I suggest it would be best for us to create jobs with that money than it would be to continue to just give it to people, a lot of them, who just won't go find a job.
Question 19. Do you think No Child Left Behind has worked, and what are your thoughts on the reauthorization of it?
No, I don't believe No Child Left Behind has worked. Over the years, in fact, when I ran in 2000, that was one of the concerns I had back then with our education system. We need to push forward with vouchers. We have parents, we have kids in school systems that really need to move their children out of those systems that are not producing a good education. And for me, I think a good education is the key to success in this nation. And we have a lot of youngsters who are in larger cities who are struggling. And the voucher system is something that I truly believe that we need to make available to children within the urban communities as well as some in the suburban communities.